When Katie got ready for recess that day, she had trouble with her boots. She sat on the floor in the coat closet, tugging at them. They were stuck. She could only get her feet partway into them. She was getting hot from tugging so hard. Her head and hair were hot, and even her back felt sweaty. She pulled off her coat. She pulled off her hat. Then she looked at her feet. Her socks were all rumpled down from working at the boots so much. She looked at her boots again. Maybe she'd been trying to get them on the wrong feet. She lined the boots up side by side. She made sure the toes pointed in, sort of at each other, because that meant they were the right way. She tried putting them on again. She started with the left foot and the left boot. But the boot still wouldn't go on. Maybe her feet had grown since this morning. "Boys and girls," Mrs. Henry called out. "What's taking so long? I want everyone to line up for recess. Some people are missing. Who's still in the coat closet?" "I am," Katie called out. "I'm having trouble with my boots." "Amelia," Mrs. Henry said, "go help Katie, please." "It's all right," Katie said. "I can do it." She was still a little mad at Amelia for being a meanie before. But Amelia came into the coat closet. "Anyway." "It's your socks," Amelia said. "You have to fix them." "They're already fixed," Katie said. "I'm not," Amelia said. "They're all bunched up. The boots can't fit." Katie looked down. She pretended to pick fuzz off her socks. But she smoothed the socks out, just a little. Amelia was watching her, frowning. She looked just like that mean old substitute teacher, Mrs. Morris. "Stop looking at me," Katie said. "I'm allowed," Amelia said. "How come you wouldn't tell me your secret Santa before?" Katie said. "Because," Amelia said. "Because why?" Katie said. "Because it's a secret," Amelia said. "Don't you know anything?" "I know lots of things," Katie said. She looked down at her boots. She could feel wet coming up to her eyes. That Amelia. And she was supposed to be Katie's best friend. "Hurry," Amelia said. "Mrs. Henry said you shouldn't be mean at Christmas," Katie said. "She did not," Amelia said. "She said you shouldn't hate anybody. Now hurry. Everybody's waiting." "I'm hurrying," Katie said. She smoothed her sock again. She tugged hard on the boot. It slid on. "See?" Amelia said. Katie made a face. But she bent and went to work on the other one. She pulled hard on her sock first. Her toe came right out through a hole. Amelia laughed, a silly laugh that sounded like a snake hissing, all noise through her nose. "Stop laughing," Katie said. She quickly pulled on her boot and covered the holy sock. "You have a hole in your sock," Amelia said. "That's silly." "So?" Katie said. "So do you." "Do not," Amelia said. Katie stood up. She pulled her coat on, and then her hat. She looked at Amelia. "Then how do you get your socks on?" Katie said. Amelia frowned at her. "You have to have holes in them," Katie said. "In the top." Amelia made a face at Katie. Katie made a mean face back. "No what?" Amelia said. "What?" Katie said. "Your hat's on backwards," Amelia said. "That's what." She made that hissing snake sound again. Katie felt her head. Her hat was on backwards. She could feel the ear flaps dangling practically over her face. She felt dumb. She just shrugged, though. I like it this way, she said. Silly, Amelia said. You look silly. Ready, boys and girls? Mrs. Henry said. Katie. Amelia. Coming. Katie yelled. Really silly, Amelia said. And then, by accident, Katie's arm swung out. She bopped Amelia really hard, right across her middle. Amelia stepped back. She bumped her head on one of the coat hooks that stuck out. She put a hand to her head. She let out a yell. Mrs. Henry was standing in the doorway. Oh, Katie thought. Time out, Mrs. Henry said.